Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 15160 Southwest Kingbird Drive here in Beaverton, located at the front of the house, just to the right of the front doorway. I describe everything as if you're in the street facing the front of the house. So we're just to the right of the door. 3-inch ABS cleanout hides underneath a little concrete lid. Check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water's running. We're going to zero out here at the base of the cleanout, and off we go. Switching over to PVC pipe immediately upon access. And we just went through a low spot there a moment ago. We're going to take a good look at on the way back out. It's a short-lived low spot, but when I first opened the cleanout up, you could hear a lot of water running through the line. At least appeared to sound like it was going through the line. So we'll check that area there to make sure that we don't have any groundwater intrusions. But spotless, clean flow line. This is exactly how you want your pipe to look here. No grease buildup. And there is the main, about 62 feet. We're going to go locate that real quick here while the pipe drains off. It looks like the line swapped over to 4-inch PVC amongst our run out there. We'll hunt that down as we come back in here. And we're still waiting for the line to drain off here, but I just located the camera head. I'm picking up kind of a weak signal out on Kingbird. We'll do another one here as we pull back in closer. All right, we've got no more water moving through the cleanout. We're going to give this about 30 more seconds here to drain. If that water keeps moving, we know that we may have some intrusion going on. Alright, so we definitely have a bad pipe joint. It is letting a just gargantuan amount of water. I mean, the only, and so it looks like whatever, you've got a tie-in right here. Theoretically, I suppose they could have tied the storm system in here. It's very uncommon and rare to see that on this age of home, but what you have right there is a tie-in, which most likely would be a test tee. And sometimes they don't cap those properly. obviously groundwater can intrude into the sewer line. That's what I suspect is going on here.
Is that the top?
My camera is flipped over right now. Yeah. So what you've got there is at the top of the pipe. My camera's just not flipping over. So the hard part is testing that. If it were to be storm system, there is so much water raging through that right now. If you put a hose, for instance, down the downspout, which is what you normally do to test that, you wouldn't really notice it. So I suspect you've got a test that is not capped properly. You've also got a joint right here that is showing some level of shifting and movement, which is often the case. You often will get some kind of settling situation when you've got groundwater intruding the line like this. All right, I'm having a bit of a time here getting a locate. I'm going to pull back in and reset my battery pack. See if that makes any difference. I had a hard time getting a locate signal out in the street as well.
Pretty dry here.
So I'm kind of visually watching this thing. We made a bit of a, as you make your way out towards the road, a little bit of a right-hand turn, kind of like we're heading towards the driveway right now. And the line does dive down to, it looks like a half-decent depth there here in just a moment. It does a hard dive, so. This thing really tanks off here. It's possible it's a depth issue. Sometimes I get an issue of combined with depth, and you'll get sometimes interference from utilities. On that dive there, it kind of looked like it was turning to straighten out though, so I'm going to take another whack at this here. I'm going to push out just past this point and see if that helps. Alright, so I'm picking up a signal very akin to what I got in the road. I can tell it's the camera head, but the signal is coming in really jumpy. I'm getting, you know, between like 2 feet.
That's the water you're saying is that water shouldn't be coming is what you're saying?
No, I mean, the only other explanation for this would be if someone tied like a perimeter drain, like a French drain into the sewer line through like the test tee.
Yeah.
Which seems unlikely, but it wouldn't be the first time I've seen it. So as you face the house from the street, where I'm picking my signal up is just to the right of the driveway, about halfway down the driveway, but to the right side. That's as you stand in the street and face the house.
It's like 2 feet, and then we'll see if we can find it again.
Oh, I've got to pull back further than that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. There's Alrighty, so right here, the line, it's my locate signal is coming in reasonably as far as the location goes. The depth is all over the place. I'm about 2 foot 4 inches deep right here. This is right as the line is crossing through the concrete walkway that leads up to the very first step. And I'll show that with the camera here in just a second. it's hard to eyeball this, but I mean, you're doing almost a straight vertical drop right here. So if you account for that, we're at about the 20-foot mark as you go over that dive. By the time you level off down here at the base of this, we are now down to about 32 feet out. You know, if that's doing a straight vertical drop there, we just went from about 2 foot 4 inches down to, I mean, that was almost a 10-foot drop there. It may not be 10 feet, but I'll bet you it's at least 8. This is going to be somewhere in the 10, possibly deeper. I mean, I don't know if you're 12 feet deep, but you're way down there at this point. So it's a combination of what feels like interference from utilities, potentially. It may also just be an extremely deep line there my locator's having a hard time picking up on. But you're about halfway down the driveway, just off to the right of it is where I'm picking up the signal there. All my locates that are coming in before and after that are lining up with it. So I recommend that get figured out there. I typically speak, if I haven't mentioned already, sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I've done almost 25,000 sewer scopes at this point in my career. I see this fairly frequently, and in almost every circumstance, it's due to an uncapped test tee, or a cap that was able to wiggle off there after the line got buried. I have seen a couple, you know, fly-by-night companies over the years tie into those with some kind of perimeter drain system, but usually it's due to an uncapped test tee. So as the line makes its way out here, in fact, it about goes underneath AR's feet right there. Just beyond that, you have the little concrete pad just before the steps. That's where I picked up that 2 foot 4 inch deep marking, and that's right where the line dives. It then turns to straighten out, and it runs right along the edge of the driveway there. So about halfway down is where I got that signal. It's just not good enough for me to paint the ground there and tell you right where to dig. So I recommend that get corrected. The concern with something like that, especially with the amount of water that's moving through that, is it can cause hydro erosion. I mean, your kind of nightmare scenario, which does not always happen, but you can get a sinkhole that is created from something like that. If you're causing hydro erosion with that much water shooting through the ground into that, that's the concerns. It can cause settling to both the sewer line, but can also cause settling to all the ground above it. So the only other explanation for that, which is very, very hard to test, is if someone somehow tied in the storm system into that. When I put my ear to the downspouts anyway, I don't hear the water. When you open this cleanout cap up, it sounds like you're draining 3 bathtubs at one time. It's a lot of water. So either correct it or verify where the water source is coming from. But anyway, everything else aside from that on either side of that test tee or tie-in there is in great shape, has good flow, and is superbly clean. I recommend a rescope after any repairs are done to check the work, especially if a hole is dug to that depth. You want to make sure that rescope is done after the trench is closed to watch for settling problems.